This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 19th day of March in the year 2026. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Now here's what we're tracking tonight. The spike in oil prices on the global market linked to the ongoing war in Iran could potentially fast-track cost recovery under the Stabroek Block Production Sharing Agreement here in Guyana. That's according to the president of ExxonMobil Guyana, Alastair Rutledge. Benchmark Brent oil prices jumped to over $119 per barrel today, following attacks by Iran on energy facilities across the Middle East in response to the U.S. and Israeli attacks on its resources and facilities. At a press conference today at ExxonMobil's headquarters at Ogle, Mr. Rutledge said at the current rate, ExxonMobil and its co-venturers in the Stabroek Block could potentially recover all of the historic capital and operational costs this year, as against next year, as previously projected.
The contract allows up to 75% of the gross revenues to be used to recover costs. That includes the costs that we've accumulated historically. Now, while we've been generally running down that historical bank of costs at a reasonably steady and predictable pace, we were anticipating sometime next year in 2027 that we were going to get to the point where we had recovered those historic costs, largely because of just increasing volumes of production that were generating higher and higher revenues to offset the ongoing expenditures plus recover historic costs. What we're now seeing in this price environment is that will accelerate. Now, we don't forecast oil prices, but if you stay at the current oil price, then it will happen this year.
To date, ExxonMobil and its partners have invested more than $40 billion in the Stabroek Block operations. It is estimated that they have recovered more than $35 billion to date in cost oil. Rutledge told reporters that approximately $5 billion is left to be recovered based on historic costs accumulated in both capital and operational expenses. He said while the jump in oil prices would undoubtedly affect domestic consumers due to the disruption in the supply of fuel, the price increase augurs well for Guyana as a net producer of oil.
That then means is that instead of the roughly 14.5% that the government, the country has been receiving by way of revenues into the Natural Resource Fund from the Stabroek production and revenues, what will happen is that percentage will significantly increase. Now, what exactly that percentage is depends on oil price, depends on volumes, depends on how much money is being spent in the month or 2 months leading into any given month. So it's going to be, we will move into a much more dynamic world from the point of view of the amount of revenue the country is receiving.
At the end of January 2026, Guyana produced 916,000 barrels of oil per day in the Stabroek Block. Mr. Rutledge said ExxonMobil is encouraged by the developments in the Stabroek Block and will continue to invest in its development. The U.S. oil giant and its Stabroek Block co-venturers' collective commitment to date stands at approximately $60 billion.
So the contract is going to deliver what it was intended to do, is to encourage as much investment as possible in the Stabroek Block, which is what we've been doing. As you know, we've committed over $60 billion to invest in Guyana. But it also is set up so that as that is recovered, then the country sees significant increase in revenues without having taken any investment risk up front. So it's all playing out. It's in current price environment with what's happening in the world.
Its Stabroek Block Production Sharing Agreement, all revenues are split 50-50 between the country and the Stabroek Block operators, following cost recovery of up to 75%. The country also receives 2% royalty. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories, that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Dead the horse with Bowser.
This is your time.
Yeah, but we didn't get all we needed last Christmas, and now we can.
Republic Bank Cash Bonanza.
Let's renovate our home and purchase appliances.
And plan a trip with the kids.
Or buy a new car.
Republic Bank Cash Bonanza. Same day approvals. Apply in person or safely online. Plus a chance to win lots of prizes. This is your time to get what you need. Republic Bank Cash Bonanza.
What time is it? Teddy Bear Sundays presents Respectfully Yours.
Like this is respectfully yours. Don't get in our party.
Who's in the building? DJ Akilo birthday celebrations Saturday, March 21st at Royal Lounge, Chinese Mall, Georgetown. Entertainment by Super Ray, one-man band. Selector Big Papa, DJ Denzel, Father Moe, Gully Raz, and Moose. Lots of teddy bears, giveaways, and much more. So remember, it's the girls' teddy bear DJ Akilo birthday party. Saturday, March 21st at Royal Lounge, Chinese Mall, Georgetown.
Like this is respectfully yours. Don't get in our party. We are the
We finance everything with Quartz Ready Finance. From educational expenses and those unplanned emergencies. Get it done with financing through Quartz Ready Finance. All you need to apply is a valid ID, proof of income, proof of address, and 2 references. Get quick approval and flexible monthly installments, plus credit protection insurance. Apply in store or online at quartz.com. Quartz Ready Finance. Ready when you are. Conditions apply.
Guyana's oil and gas industry is creating more than energy. It's creating opportunity. Nearly 1/3 of the over 6,000 Guyanese employed in the sector hold professional positions, with many more working in technical and associate professional roles. This covers supply chain management, engineering, finance, and procurement. That means Guyanese skills are shaping Guyana's future. And with over 1,600 more jobs expected in the coming years, now is the time to step forward. The oil and gas sector needs more Guyanese skills, ideas, and ambition. Get trained, get certified, get involved. The future of Guyana's energy sector starts with you.
In the education sector tonight, while calling for there to be continuous transformation of education across the Caribbean region, Guyana's Minister of Education, Sonia Parag, has warned that while the region must embrace technological changes to learning and teaching, the literacy and numeracy model adopted by the region and the Caribbean Examination Council must not be abandoned, stating that slower learners still stand to benefit from the classroom interaction with teachers and traditional learning. The Education Minister made the comments while delivering the feature address at the inaugural CXC Ministerial Forum in Jamaica on Wednesday.
And it is my unwavering belief that if we must continue to anchor our education systems in the foundational pillars of literacy and numeracy, we must do that. If a child cannot read with comprehension, then an e-library offers little value. And if a student cannot reason with numbers, then the promise of coding, data analysis, and digital innovation becomes inaccessible. As such, digitalization must not distract us from these fundamentals. It must strengthen them. It must promote them.
Minister Parag said the region must quickly adapt as the role of teachers and the examination system is being reshaped in real time. She also told the meeting that while students are engaged on digital platforms as a primary source of learning, access must not be mistaken for understanding.
That is why I consider it essential that we work closely with the Caribbean Examinations Council to ensure that as we enter this new era of unprecedented growth in virtual technologies, our systems of teaching, learning, and assessment remain aligned, relevant, and fit for purpose.
Parag said the region must also work together to collectively address the education system, explaining that Guyana has established the digital school to ensure access to new forms of learning.
We gather at a moment when the pace of change in education is no longer gradual, but accelerated, and in many respects unforgiving. The systems we inherited, the methods we refined, and the assessments we relied upon are now being tested by forces that do not wait for policy cycles or institutional comfort. In the age of social media, change can be as quick as a single post.
The education minister told stakeholders from across the region that Guyana has been making progress in the education system. She pointed to the government's push to ensure an increased literacy rate from primary schools. A bit of drama unfolded in the compound of the Attorney General's chambers this afternoon as opposition leader Azruddin Mohamed turned up with 2 wheelbarrows of money to pay court costs associated with recent court cases that were not in his favor. One of the wheelbarrows contained a large amount of $1, $5, and $10 coins, while the other wheelbarrow contained $20 and $100 notes, all adding up to $1 million, according to Mr. Mohamed. He said he decided to roll in the penny bank savings owing to the commercial banks closing his accounts because of the U.S. sanctions and him being unable to transact business with the banks. He said the Attorney General demanded that the money be paid by tomorrow, and he decided to make the payment 1 day earlier.
I came here to, fulfill my obligations to ensure that he receive his money. He gave us a deadline of Friday, 4 p.m. And tomorrow is my holiday. So I want to spend the holiday with my fellow brothers and sisters and family members. Tomorrow is Eid, so I won't have time tomorrow. So that's why I decided to bring the cash here to clear off, my debt of $1 million.
Some persons might say this is being petty in terms of the denomination of the notes and the coins and so.
No, I don't think it's petty, it's money. If someone pay me with coins, I will accept immediately, because any supermarket, any gas stations, anywhere you go, they will accept coins or $20 bills. Yeah. It's not petty. I don't have no other option because they force all the banks to close my accounts. So this is the only option I had at hand, to go into the children's piggy bank and take the money out and bring it immediately.
The cashiers of the Attorney General's chambers were seen counting off the money as the Attorney General had indicated that it is legal tender. However, in a live social media broadcast, AJ Nandlal said Mohamed would have to take the wheelbarrow with the coins with him, as he expressed concern about the large amount of coins.
There are laws that govern how coins can be used and how bills can be used to settle lawful debts in Guyana. And the relevant provision of the law in relation to coins read as follows. Legal tender coins shall be accepted throughout Guyana in settlement of any public or private debt or monetary obligation up to a limit of A, $100 for coins of denomination of $1, $250 for coins of denomination of $5, and $500 for coins of denomination of $10. So that is the extent by law to which coins can be used as legal tenders to settle debts. Unfortunately for Mr. Mohamed, he will have to return the barrow of coins that he has brought. He will have to take it away. And I hope that as he borrowed coming in, and that went live, when he's borrowing, coming out back with the coins, that will go live as well.
AG Nandlal described the situation that played out in the compound of his chambers as a circus, which he believes has backfired on the opposition leader. He said a court has ruled and court orders must be followed. Mohamed said he was following the orders of the court by making the payment of the costs in keeping with the AG's deadline. President Irfan Ali today confirmed that public servants should expect their cash grant payments before the end of the week. Last week, Finance Minister Dr. Ashley Singh announced that the government will commence the payment of the cash grant starting with public servants this week, since the government was already in receipt of the banking information of those public servants. Many public servants received their salaries this week, but there was no cash grant. With the official government payday being today, the grant was not reflected in their salaries. Speaking during the opening of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry's annual general meeting this afternoon, President Ali assured that a grant is still on the cards for this week.
Before the end of this week, the first batch of beneficiary of the cash grant will receive it in their bank accounts. So let us not be deterred by temporary headwinds. Let us not lose sight of the bigger picture. The world is watching Guyana.
The $100,000 cash grant was allocated in this year's budget, and this is the second such grant to be distributed. After the first payout of the grant, an online digital platform will be launched for the registration of all other eligible beneficiaries, with guidance to be provided on the use of that platform. Once a person is registered on the platform, their banking information will be mandatory, as the government has signaled its intention to have the grant paid to the person's bank account. Last month, the National Assembly's Committee of Supply cleared $72.5 billion to cater for the distribution of the $100,000 cash grant to more than 700,000 persons.
Ensure that your stove knob is turned off and double check that your regulator is also switched off when you're finished cooking.
Team Extra presents its annual Easter Sunday Creek Explosion, performing live from Jamaica, Javinci. Granny Ivy and JJ Vibes. Music by DJ Bobby Cush, DJ Papa Feelings, DJ Magnum, DJ Garwin, David Hype, and Janus. Girls Dance Off Competition first prize $50,000, second prize $30,000, and third prize $20,000 at Azeza Akuza Creek outside Splashman's on 5th April, Easter Sunday. Early birds, ticket $3,000. Tickets location White Castle Fish Shop, Fireside Suites, Just Your Size Boutique, HJ Box Office, Short Boss Boutique, and Team Extra Stabroek Market. Compliments of Fireside, Grill and Chill, Extra Ginger Ale, and Tsar Lager Beer. Be a leader. Be a leader. Be a leader.
Dead the horse with Bowser.
This is your time. Yeah, but we didn't get all we needed last Christmas, and now we can.
Republic Bank Cash Bonanza.
Let's renovate our home and purchase appliances.
And plan a trip with the kids.
Or buy a new car.
Republic Bank Cash Bonanza. Same day approvals. Apply in person or safely online. Plus a chance to win lots of prizes. This is your time to get what you need. Republic Bank Cash Bonanza.
Washi. Hi people. Washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use, wash me clothes and I can say, wash it soap powder, wash clothes so nice. Wash it soap powder, leave your clothes color bright. Wash it soap powder, leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks for wash it soap powder, for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Wash it soap powder, wash clothes so nice. Wash it soap powder, leave your clothes color bright. Wash it soap powder, have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
Your business is built on hard work, vision, and the drive to succeed. At GBTI, we understand what it takes to grow. That's why we offer Grow, a small business service designed to help your business expand, adapt, and reach its full potential. From new opportunities to new milestones, we're here to support you every step of the way. Grow from GBTI. Progress starts here.
General Secretary of the We Invest in Nationhood Party and Member of Parliament Odessa Primus responded through her attorney Hussie Anderson to the threat of a lawsuit by PNC Reform leader Aubrey Norton. In a missive from his attorney, Mr. Norton alleged that Primus defamed his good name and character by allegedly claiming that he had taken money from Vice President Bharat Jagdeo. However, in her attorney's response, Primus denied making the statement attributed to her by the PNC Reform leader. Her attorney, Hussie Anderson, said what Primus really stated was, "Tell your people who collecting Bharat money." He questioned whether the PNC Reform leader was at all accused by the Win MP of collecting any money from the Vice President. The attorney also said there shall be no apology or compensation. Appearing on the Norman Brown Grapevine podcast last evening, MP Primus lashed out at Mr. Norton over the threat of a lawsuit, which she described as petty and frivolous. She said with all that is taking place in the country, Mr. Norton ought to be more focused on the people rather than filing petty lawsuits. Primus said Norton should be focused on his party, the PNC Reform, and its dismal showing at the last elections.
Of course, there is nothing in what I said that is libelous, that is any form of defamation or anything. And so, I mean, Mr. Norton is free to do as he pleases. What took me by surprise, rather, is the fact that you have the likes of Bharat Jagdeo, who comes on, well, when he had his Thursday press conference, and he drags Aubrey to the dirt. Aubrey has never taken Bharat Jagdeo to court. Dharam Lal, at one point, invested heavily in terms of posts and comments on social media against Aubrey. You have the likes of the Robin Singhs, the critics, and all these people who come out. Melly Mel too, so she should receive some papers as well. Melissa has made lives and did posts and all these sorts of things against Aubrey. And Aubrey did not take any of those people to court.
She said Norton would be better off focusing on the issues within the People's National Congress and direct his energies to rebuilding that party after its poor showing at the last elections. Almost a year after ExxonMobil Guyana and the governments of Guyana at the level of the Guyana Revenue Authority agreed to select a sole expert as provided for under the Stabrook Block Production Sharing Agreement to resolve the dispute over that $214 million in questionable expenses claimed by Exxon, there has been no selection to date. At a press conference today, ExxonMobil Guyana President Alistair Rutledge said that process is still ongoing.
We are going through the selection of the third-party expert with the government represented by the GRA. So that process is ongoing, and we expect to have one selected soon.
But there appears to be no established timeline for the selection of the sole expert. An audit conducted by IHS Markit found that of the $1.67 billion in claims made by ExxonMobil for operational expenses in the Stabrook Block for the period 1999 to 2017, some $214 million was questionable. The sole expert is expected to determine whether that money and the expenses as flagged by IHS Markit should be considered legitimate. Both sides are expected to propose candidates for the selection of a sole expert. However, while those proposals have been made, no agreement has been reached. Rutledge said it is important for the sole expert to have the confidence of both sides.
The discussions have been had in the right, approach. Both sides wanting to make sure that they understand the credentials of the people that are and the organizations being proposed, and also that they don't have any conflicts of interest. It's extremely important, I think, to both parties that we are comfortable ultimately with whoever it is that is the sole expert.
However, if Exxon and the Guyana Revenue Authority fail to select a sole expert, one could be appointed by the International Chamber of Commerce.
No, the next step isn't arbitration. We would agree to go to the ICC and they would appoint a sole expert. That is the next step. So if we can't agree, then we have a third party identify that sole expert, and then we...
Exxon has long maintained that it intends to recover the entire $1.678 billion in costs for exploration work done between 1999 and 2017. Roselle de Leon Investments, the company at the center of that land dispute in the village of Friendship, has stated that following a decision by the High Court, the new Friendship Farmers Cooperative Land Society had given an undertaking that the land would be vacated by January of last year. But today the occupants have not moved, maintaining that it remains the sole and rightful owner of the property by virtue of certificates of title. Roselle de Leon Investments in a statement explained that the two parcels of land were legally purchased from Elaine Adams, the previous owner. The company said at the time of the purchase it was given vacant possession, and all persons occupying the land were given notice prior to and following the transaction. Roselle de Leon said despite that, in 2023, the new Friendship Farmers Cooperative Land Society, acting on behalf of the occupants, filed legal proceedings in the High Court, challenging its ownership of the land. In that action, the society sought to have the company's titles declared void based on allegations of fraud. But in September of 2024, Justice Hugh dismissed the society's application. According to Roselle de Leon, in wake of that court ruling, the society gave an undertaking to have the property vacated by January of 2025. The company said when the society failed to honor its undertaking, it was left with no choice but to seek enforcement of the court's ruling. The company said on the 29th of August last year, the High Court issued a further order commanding the marshals of the Supreme Court to enter the property and remove all persons in occupation and deliver vacant possession to Roselle de Leon Investments. The action was carried out by the marshals on the 17th of March this year. Pointing out that the legal process spanned more than 18 months, the company said it is untrue that the occupants were given only 7 days' notice to vacate the land. The company also rejected claims of bullyism. It said the enforcement of the Supreme Court order is the lawful execution of a judicial ruling. Well, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is reminding that serious offenses, such as sexual offenses and other crimes in the hinterland communities, must be dealt with by the police and not tushals and village leaders. The DPP's office recently attended the South Rupununi District Council's biannual general meeting at Shulanab in Region 9, where the issue was addressed. In a statement today, the Office of the DPP said its Communications and Outreach Officer, Liz Rahman, who addressed the meeting, explained that when a crime is committed, the Tushao has a responsibility to report that crime to the police, who will then launch an investigation. It was explained that a police file will be compiled and then forwarded to the DPP's office for legal advice through the police force's law enforcement office. She said it is permissible for tushals to deal with the less serious offenses like disorderly behavior and simple larceny, which may be offenses under the community's rule, but that they must by law report the more serious offenses such as murders, sexual offenses, domestic violence, causing death by dangerous driving, consumption of alcohol, and smoking of illegal drugs by underage school children, and larceny, among others, to the police. Rahman pleaded with the tushals to take their responsibility seriously and ensure that criminal activities reported to them by villagers be forwarded to the police for action to be taken. The DPP office said during a previous outreach meeting in early February, some residents of a number of indigenous villages informed the office that they were not aware of how to go about dealing with criminal matters, especially those in relation to gender-based and sexual violence. They reported that most of the issues were reported to the village leaders who would try to settle the matter. Also addressing the meeting on the country's sexual offences was State Counsel Muntas Ali, who explained the importance of credible and consistent evidence, due process, and the collective responsibility to support the legal proceedings in court. He explained the elements of sexual offences and domestic violence and the severity of penalties attached to those.
Guyana, are you ready? Boom! Oh Lord! This Easter Sunday, April 5th, the original Big People Party is back, and it's better than ever. This year, we're turning up with big vibes at the Guyana National Stadium. Introducing your headliner, performing live, the one, the only, Farmer Nappy.
I want to go Big People Party, make the music take over me. I want to jump up all day, all night, all the way up all day. How I live it, better than them, how I look it.
It is the biggest event ever for Easter 2026. Grown Vibes, Premium Energy, Real Celebration, hosted by DJ Aquilo and Killa Milla, and powered by the best one-man bands. Early bird tickets are available now. General admission, $4,000. VIP, $15,000. Get yours online at hjexperience.com or at official ticketing outlets nationwide. Don't you wait. Be there.
How it look, the girls? You girls out there, how it look? It fry very crispy and nice, right?
The original Big People Party, Easter Sunday, April 5th at the Guyana National Stadium.
This event is brought to you by Hits and Jams Entertainment, Marvelous Entertainment, and GD Events.
The bigger the better.
Edition.
Big People Party.
Welcome to Churches New Amsterdam.
20 years of churches, chickens, you and us, and there is nothing missing. So many friends and strangers pass through our doors, and they always come back for more. Guyana, the love keeps growing, and we thankful for the support you are showing. At so many locations and much more to come. It's gratitude and celebration. Can you feel the love? 20 years of churches, chickens, you and us, and there is nothing missing. So many friends and strangers pass through our doors, and they always come back for more. Feel the love.
Guyana, up your cash! Over 100 winners! More than $2.5 million in cash and prizes up for grabs. Win cash every week. Plus a chance to up your cash to $500,000. And that's not all. Win back your grocery bill up to $20,000 cash every week. Just grab any Buster Turbo Energy Drink, Fruitopia, Oasis Flavored Water, Fruita, or Viva Sparkling Flavored Water. Look for the code starting with BB, then visit at Buster Guyana on Facebook or Instagram for details. Up your cash today!
Your business is built on hard work, vision, and the drive to succeed. At GBTI, we understand what it takes to grow. That's why we offer Grow, a small business service designed to help your business expand, adapt, and reach its full potential. From new opportunities to new milestones, we're here to support you every step of the way. Grow from GBTI. Progress starts here.
Rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guy Oil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guy Oil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guy Oil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future.
Feel spice power in every sip.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. The Cuban Communist Party has shown an astonishing resilience over 6 decades in power. Whether it's the United States trade embargo to counter Fidel Castro's 1959 revolution or the widespread starvation of the special period that followed the breakup of its Cold War patron, the Soviet Union, both U.S. hostilities and calamities of its own making have proven no match for the country's leadership. But perhaps none of those crises pose as grave a threat as the one triggered by an all but declared naval siege by the U.S. administration, as it seeks to force regime change in wake of its successful ousting of Cuba's longtime ally, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Even as he fights a war with Iran, President Donald Trump this week said he believes he'll have the honor of taking Cuba soon. While it wasn't clear exactly what he meant, the U.S. is looking for President Miguel Diaz-Canel to leave power as part of ongoing talks with Havana that could avert some kind of U.S. military intervention. Without declaring a formal blockade, Trump and his administration have already crippled trade with the island. In March, supplies of oil, food, and other goods to the island collapsed, with no foreign originating tankers arriving to Cuba, according to shipping data analyzed by Windward, a maritime intelligence firm. The volume of port calls, which include tankers moving from one Cuban port to another, averaged around 50 per month in 2025, but fell just 11 in March 2026, all of them arriving from domestic ports. It was the lowest since 2017. On Wednesday, U.S. Department of State announced it is expanding its visa bond program to apply to a total of 50 countries on April 2 and will require foreign nationals from these countries to post a bond of $15,000 before receiving B1 or B2 visas for business and tourism in the United States. According to the U.S. State Department, Grenada joins 38 nations that are already included in the visa bond program, alongside Caribbean islands of Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Cuba, and Venezuela. In a statement, the government of Grenada confirmed that the country is among the countries listed in the expanded visa program. It explained that the measure relates specifically to visitor visas for business and tourism and provides for the possible requirement of a bond ranging from US $5,000 to US $15,000 in individual cases, as determined during a visa interview. The government said it is actively engaging with its U.S. counterparts to ensure that the interests of the Grenadian people are fully understood and appropriately reflected in the implementation of this measure. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Thursday he had told Israel not to repeat its attacks on Iranian natural gas infrastructure, as tit-for-tat strikes and energy plants sent energy prices spiraling sharply, escalating the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran. Trump's comment came as energy prices jumped sharply higher on Thursday after Iran responded to an Israeli attack on a major gas field by hitting Qatar's Ras Laffan industrial city, which processes around a fifth of the world's liquefied natural gas, causing damage that will take years to repair. Saudi Arabia's main port on the Red Sea, where it has been able to divert some exports to avoid Iran's closure of the Gulf's exit point, the Strait of Hormuz, was also attacked. The strikes underscored Iran's continued ability to exact a heavy price for the U.S.-Israeli campaign and the limits of air defenses in protecting the Gulf's most vulnerable and strategic energy assets. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.